Japan proposes an ICO regulation framework, the hidden meaning of Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, the Lightning Network gets its first Android app release, Verge accidentally hard forks as it's unable to fix the vulnerability in its code, student cryptocurrency miners face rising costs and lower margins, electronics giant Foxconn announces plans for a smart device that is blockchain enabled. We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades, and your Fun TV daily update starts now. Diving in here on the total market caps, we can see that we are down slightly to $255 billion. As you can see, we've been rocking our way between 240 and 280 really over the course of the last week, and we've really been sort of bottoming out here at this sort of $250 billion mark. But as you can see, we were all the way up here at 282, as low as 245 before that rather, and you can see that we've worked our way up. We haven't quite gone below this $250 billion mark. This might be a little bit of a floor for us for now, but as you can see, we're trying to make little runs unsuccessfully, so hitting some resistance here around the $260 billion mark. So we're really ebbing and flowing. We're hoping this might be the end of the consolidation period of the slide of the bear market, but very hard to tell at the moment. Of course, there are some coins making moves, even though Bitcoin is down 1.67%. We see Tron making an absolutely monstrous climb with 32% gains. Tron got listed on a big Korean exchange, BitHum, but as well it looks like they got some adjustments to their listing on Upbit. It's confusing because it says that they were already listed here on Upbit, but that they also, we know that they definitely got listed on BitHum as well, as Justin Sun makes that clear right here. Regardless, what's going on here is that this coin is pumping tremendously because of this Korean won listing, as well as these pairings here on these very popular Korean exchanges, causing this coin to pump from about 2 cents, a little under 3 cents here, 2.9 cents, all the way up here to over 5 cents for a second here, and then it sort of dumped back down, but it's still making some growth here. And as you know, that kimchi premium, as they say, on the cryptocurrency space is still in effect, it would seem, as the South Korean markets really do drive a lot of growth here. And of course, Ontology with a monstrous day again, pumping up to 283. Oh my gosh, Ontology is just unstoppable right now. And maybe that's because people have recognized the kind of coin it is and how it very much so is different than these other coins on the market. It's backed by a country, it's backed by regulation, it's a multi-chain sort of evolved idea of how to build these missing pieces into the blockchain, and I think it's a very different project, and this is evidence that the market is treating it as such. It's not treating it like the rest of these coins. It's not falling with Bitcoin. It's not falling with the rest of the market. It's pretty interesting stuff. Definitely something to keep your eye on and look at Ontology and how it behaves. Another good pump out of high-performance blockchain, which we covered on our video this morning about coins that are releasing their mainnets. Oh yeah, sorry, they just released their testnet, but regardless, this is really good news, and seeing any company release their testnet, which happened today, leads to, look at this, a nice little pump here, 24% pump, so that explains why a high-performance blockchain is pumping. Moving over to some lead news out of the day, we have word that Japan is introducing a framework for ICOs. So published today in Japan's ICO Business Research Group, which is a task force of lawmakers, academics, bankers, and chief executives, they're saying that ICO is still in its infancy and has no industry practices yet. Appropriate rules must be set to enable ICO to obtain public trust and to expand as a sound and reliable financing method. Now, I think this is something that's being echoed by a lot of leading powers in the world, is that ICO as a mechanism for funding is a little bit too open-ended. It's a little bit too open, I guess, as a method for funding. It's almost too good and too easy to gather funding for your ideas. And I think that that threatens, or that scares, a lot of the powers that be, a lot of the regulatory powers that be, as thinking that this is a chance for not only people to move money around in sort of less than savory ways, but also a chance for people to straight up scam others and present, for example, like we saw with Centra, an example of a company that was completely fake and that had partnerships that were completely fake and paid influencers to propagate their message. And it was very hard to tell. They even got listed on Binance. So this is crazy as to how far these scams can go. And we all know about how BitConnect ended up. So this is really definitely something that I think is a good thing. It will help bring some long-term legitimacy and long-term growth to the industry. I believe that this kind of a regulatory framework will be coming for all nations. So let's be excited about this being, yes, it's a framework, a regulatory framework, but it's a path by which you can travel to sort of do this crypto game in a way that, you know, will instill faith in investors and potentially institutional investors too. And we celebrate Satoshi's birthday, and we want to remember exactly why Satoshi's birthday was chosen. Satoshi's birthday is an ode to the day that America made a law in 1933 under the executive order of the president that they are going to seize all gold. They actually did this. They went and seized all gold coins, gold bullion, and gold certificates, and they were then taken under control by the Federal Reserve. This is absolutely, to many people, an abuse of power, and it led to this monetary system where people, like normal people, are not able to access and truly possess their money. Your money is largely a bank balance, a digital balance on a bank sheet somewhere. And that centralized banking balance sheet is not actually backed up by even cash, even paper money. There's not enough of it to back up the actual money that we have in circulation. It's mostly just a digital number anyway. So by storing it on cryptographically secure decentralized networks, it's actually way more secure. And the reality is that this is the first opportunity to actually take our value that we've owned, that is ours, our property, and store them in our own system, in a system that's controlled by us. This is absolutely revolutionary, and there's a ton of significance as to why Satoshi chose April the 5th, because this law was seen as a total centralization of power of the monetary supply, and it made it so that you couldn't own gold, which, by the way, gold is accepted, and it's considered an accepted precious resource around the world. So in theory, you could put all your money in gold, take it to another country, and get money for your savings and sort of take your wealth with you, own it. Now, you can literally take your wealth with you in your head. You can memorize your private key and go across the entire universe, and you'll still have it as long as you have connection to the internet and the blockchain. So this is pretty amazing, and this is revolutionary, and we should remember why April 5th is Satoshi's birthday. And the Bitcoin Lightning Network gets its first Android app release. That's right, the Eclair wallet, which is the first Android-enabled Bitcoin Lightning Network wallet, was released on April the 4th. The Eclair wallet is a next-generation Lightning-ready Bitcoin wallet. It can be used as a regular Bitcoin wallet and can also connect the Lightning Network for cheap instant payments. This is just one of many releases that the Lightning Network and its associated DApp developers have released in the last few days even, as there's been several LApps or Lightning apps that have been coming out, and it's very exciting to see the real push by the app developers to receive some adoption around the Lightning Network, as this whole concept is meant to relieve the issues of scalability and transaction fees. It's always great to see innovation out of the Lightning Network labs, as it brings more value to the underlying asset that is Bitcoin. So apparently what happened with the Verge fix that they deployed was that it was actually an accidental hard fork. As one Redditor, OC Miner, who was the one who initially pointed out the hack in the first place, explains, you guys are aware that the fix you pushed actually is a hard fork, so your blockchain snapshot is not valid anymore. The wallets won't sync up from scratch anymore, and the current chain is simply not useful anymore with the new fix. Obviously, if you have a big Verge position, we're not suggesting you do anything irrational, but this is big news, and this is a major hack and an ongoing issue. I'm not personally the one analyzing this code, so we're just relaying the news as we have it, and this was published here on Cointelegraph, which is a very reputable source. And the downturn in cryptocurrency markets has forced students who are mining crypto into a tight position. College kids benefit from the fact that they get free electricity through their room and board, and they've been using that to mine cryptocurrency. Unfortunately, though, the glory days are somewhat coming to a close, as the prices are no longer justifying the cost of mining. This is very tough, as a lot of students had looked to cryptocurrency mining as a way to supplement their income and help pay for school. A student that's been mining for 6 years explained that it's gotten ludicrously expensive to get your mining rig set up, and that's because the spiraling cost of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency led to a spiraling cost of mining equipment. Other universities are also cracking down on student cryptocurrency mining and initiating blocks on the firewall level. However, I think the bigger issue here is students getting themselves into debt here, trying to go into cryptocurrency mining and essentially getting screwed over by the change or the volatility in the market, and then they're not able to pay back their initial investments. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're a student and you're thinking about investing in cryptocurrency mining. It is risky, and it doesn't always pay back in what you think it might pay back based on the calculations you make when you buy it. And the electronic giants Foxconn are set to manufacture a blockchain-enabled smartphone. That's right, the Taiwanese electronics behemoth Foxconn is reportedly getting on board to develop and manufacture Finny, a blockchain smartphone from Sirin Labs. This is pretty amazing, as now we're hearing about Sirin Labs having multiple partnerships with big electronics producers. So it seems like Sirin Labs is trying to make the underlying chips and technology within the phone and then have other sort of phone makers or well-known brands make and produce and distribute these, which is a much more bullish approach. I don't think I was very bullish on Sirin Labs because I was thinking to myself that there's no way they're going to get a marketing edge over Apple and Android and Google and the sort of ecosystems they've created there. But it seems like they're not trying to fight against that. They're trying to embrace and sort of work with that and be the sort of smart and sort of be the blockchain-enabled bridge, but not necessarily fight against these brands in the space. Really cool stuff, and it definitely makes me more bullish on the whole Sirin Labs project. The phone is priced at $999 at launch, but they're trying to bring the price down to as low as $200 to compete with other leading smartphones. Again, like we said, just a great story about more implementation of good technologies, and what I like here is that their go-to-market strategy makes sense. They're not trying to go up against the big mountains, the big behemoths in the space. They're trying to use their technology to be complementary to those big companies, and hopefully that'll be their sort of way to hop on board and be a synergistic part of the industry instead of being strictly competitive with these other players. Thanks so much for watching our FUD TV Daily Update. If you enjoyed it, don't be afraid to smash that like button. Of course, comment below and let us know what you thought about our review. Are you holding any of the coins that we discussed today? If you're an investor or enthusiast in the space, subscribing to our channel is not a bad idea, as we do multiple cryptocurrency videos each and every day. I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today on FUD TV, and we'll catch you very soon on the next episode.